The money was already on the table. Michael placed four $20 bills beside Rachel's laptop, and she hadn't touched them. She only smiled her tired smile and pushed them back. "I don't take payment," she said. "Not from anyone." Lily's latest test lay on the table, a red A+ circled at the top.
Lily, is that your math test? An A+? Since when?
Since Rachel started helping me. She's amazing.
Rachel, I don't know how to thank you. Her grades were struggling.
You don't need to thank me. And please, no money. I already told you.
But you are giving us hours of your time. At least let me cover your expenses.
I tutor for free. That's how I do it. Someone did it for me once.
Rachel zipped her worn backpack and headed for the door before Michael could argue further.
Why would she refuse? She clearly needs the money. Lily, what else do you know about Rachel? She obviously needs the money. Why won't she take it?
She never talks about her life, but I heard she works 2 jobs. She's always exhausted, but she still smiles and helps me.
Later, Michael sat in his room and opened his laptop. He typed Rachel Cole into the search bar.
Her profile says college student, but the photos tell a different story. Double shifts, cheap ramen.
One image stopped him. Rachel behind a diner counter, apron on, caption "third double this week."
She's running herself into the ground and still refusing payment. What's driving her?
A profile in the local newspaper highlighted her as a scholarship winner, a first-generation student fighting to stay in school. The article read, "Rachel Cole balances 2 jobs while pursuing her degree. She remains determined to graduate debt-free."
This isn't just kindness. She's holding on by a thread.
Michael shut the laptop. He couldn't give her cash, but he'd find a way to ease the weight she carried. The next afternoon, Michael waited in his car a block from the school. When Rachel walked out, he followed at a distance. She turned into a coffee shop. Through the window, he saw her sit opposite a young boy, pulling notebooks from her bag.
She's tutoring him. Another kid. How many does she help?
For an hour, she guided the boy through his homework, never once glancing at the clock. When the boy's mother arrived and thanked her, Rachel only nodded, packed her bag, and headed out. She walked 6 blocks to a diner on 5th Street, moving like someone carrying an invisible weight. Michael parked across the street and watched her emerge from the back, tying an apron, her smile bright but her eyes tired.
That article was right. She's working a double today, after tutoring 2 kids, and still, she won't take a cent. What happened to make her carry this alone?
He drove home with a knot in his chest, more certain than ever that he needed to understand and to help. A few days later, Rachel returned for Lily's session. Michael waited until they were wrapping up, then approached the table.
Rachel, I've been thinking. Let me pay for Lily's tutoring. Just a fair rate.
Number. I told you, I don't take payment.
But you're working yourself to the bone. At least, let me help with something.
If you try to pay me, I can't come back. Please stop pushing.
After Rachel left, Michael saw her pencil case on the table. He slipped 3 20s inside. 30 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Rachel stood on the porch, the cash crumpled in her fist.
You think this is charity? That I need your pity?
No, it's not pity.
I'm not a project. I do this because I choose to. Don't make me feel like a burden.
That night, Michael called an old friend at a foster care agency. He didn't mention Rachel's name, but when he described her situation, his friend paused. Rachel Cole? She was in the system for almost 5 years.
Foster care. That explains the walls, but not the tutoring.
The next day, Michael contacted the other families Rachel helped. All said the same. She never accepted a dime. 3 more kids, each from a struggling home, and she was pouring her own small earnings into their success.
She's giving away everything she has. What happened to make her believe that's normal?
One mother wept, saying Rachel had been her son's only chance. She works so hard, and she still shows up smiling.
I can't pay her back. She's building something I don't even have a name for.
Michael sat at his kitchen table, the list of children in front of him. He needed to hear her story firsthand.
But how do I ask? And if the truth is painful, will she ever trust me again?
The next morning, 2 grocery bags appeared outside Rachel's apartment door. No note, no sender. Her phone buzzed with Michael's text. Heard you might need a hand. Please accept this.
He won't stop. Why can't he just let me be?
An hour later, they met on a park bench. Rachel's words came sharp and cold.
I don't know what you are trying to prove, but I am not a project.
I am not trying to fix you. I couldn't stand watching you struggle alone.
I've been alone since I was 14. I am used to it. Help just feels like a debt I can't repay.
Then let it not be a debt. Let it be a choice. You chose to help Lily. Let me choose to help you.
Rachel looked away, but the set of her shoulders loosened. She didn't refuse again.
Maybe you are different, but I can't promise more.
The silence between them grew heavy until Rachel finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper.
When I was 14 in foster care, I thought I was invisible. Then a volunteer showed up, an older man. He taught me algebra. He never asked for anything. Week after week, he just kept coming. He called me kiddo. I'd never had that before. I wouldn't be in college without him. He's the reason I tutor now. I promised myself I'd pass it on.
Kiddo. Dad always said that. It can't be coincidence. Did you ever learn his name? The man who helped you?
Number, he was just a volunteer. I never saw him again after I moved placements, but I remember everything.
Michael's chest tightened. The pieces were forming a picture he wasn't ready to see. That night, alone in her tiny apartment, Rachel held an old photograph, the only one she had of her teen years. The man's face was turned, laughing.
If it really was Dad, then everything is connected. I can't tell her yet. Not without proof.
The following afternoon, Michael met Rachel at the park bench again. He brought a list of math problems for Lily, but his eyes kept searching her face.
Rachel, the man who helped you. I keep thinking about him. What did he look like?
He was older, gray hair, kind eyes. He always wore a faded volunteer polo. The kind with a logo. It was his uniform.
A volunteer polo. Dad wore that same shirt every Saturday. It was his favorite. You said he called you kiddo. Did he have any other sayings? Something you've never forgotten?
He used to say, "Math is just puzzles, kiddo. You just need the right key." It made me believe I could solve anything.
Math is puzzles. That was Dad's phrase. He said it to me every night when I struggled with homework.
Michael forced a nod, his mind racing. He had to leave before he gave himself away.
He sounds like a great man. You've carried his lessons a long way.
He saved me. I just wish I could tell him that.
That night, Michael climbed into the attic and pulled down a dusty box labeled Dad's Community Work. Inside, a laminated volunteer badge with his father's name, and beneath it a faded group photograph. The photo showed David Hart in his volunteer polo, surrounded by a dozen kids, all laughing.
And there she is, Rachel, right there at his side.
The girl in the photo was younger, but her eyes were unmistakable. The same long hair beginning to braid.
She never knew his name, but he was my father. This entire chain of kindness started with my own dad.
He turned the photo over. On the back, in fading ink, Community Day, 2014. Keep changing the world, kiddos.
He didn't just help her pass math. He told her to change the world, and she's doing it.
Michael placed the photo gently back into the box, the truth now a permanent weight in his chest.
I'll tell her, but not yet. First, I am going to finish what Dad started and make sure she sees it.
Beneath the photo, a leather-bound journal lay nestled against the box's corner. Michael opened it to a page dated March 2014. His father's neat handwriting filling the lines. The entry read, "Tutored a new girl today. Rachel, Smart as a whip reminds me of Lily. If I can get her through algebra, maybe she'll pass the torch someday.
He was thinking of us. Even then, he was building a bridge he'd never see. He planted this seed. And now it's growing in a girl he probably thought he'd never meet again.
Michael pressed his palm to the page, tears dropping onto the ink. He closed the journal, wiped his eyes, and reached for his phone.
It's Michael. I found out something incredible. Rachel, she was tutored by my dad. I want to do something for her. Something permanent.
The voice on the other end, a mother whose son Rachel had saved in math, didn't hesitate.
I can't tell Rachel yet. This scholarship won't be handout. It'll be a way to make the chain visible.
3 days later, Michael stood in the Martinez living room, surrounded by the 3 families Rachel had been helping. He told them about Rachel's past, the foster care, the stranger who tutored her, the promise she made.
She's been doing this alone. I want to create a scholarship in her name, funded by all of us.
One by one, they shared their stories. How Rachel had given their children more than homework help. She'd given them belief.
A scholarship. A way to pay it forward that she can't refuse, because it's not about her. It's about the chain.
They pooled money in a glass jar, then moved to a proper fund. The date was set, Community Appreciation Night.
We can't tell Rachel. This has to be a surprise.
The families agreed, sworn to secrecy. For the next 2 weeks, Michael coordinated through texts and late-night calls.
This is bigger than just Rachel now. It's Dad's legacy, and every child she tutors.
The jar on the diner counter was just a start. Behind the scenes, a scholarship with her name was taking shape. That night, Lily found Michael on the couch, a dusty photo album open across his lap.
You've been hiding something. Ever since Rachel started tutoring me, you've been different.
I am planning something for Rachel. A scholarship. Look at this photo.
That's Rachel. She looks so young. This is incredible. Does she know?
No, and it has to stay that way. The whole community is in on it.
The next day, Lily walked through school, a secret smile on her face. At home, Michael sat alone in his father's study, the leather journal open before him.
I haven't told her the real secret. That the tutor was Dad. That truth will change everything. I am asking Lily to keep a secret, but I am carrying the heaviest one of all.
He closed the journal, the double secret a stone in his chest. The following afternoon, after Lily's session, Rachel lingered by the kitchen table, while Michael put away the textbooks.
You've been hiding something ever since the park. You've had this look like you are carrying a secret.
I am not trying to pay you if that's what you are thinking. I learned my lesson.
She gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles white.
Then what? I don't like secrets, Michael. They always come back to hurt.
It's a community appreciation night. I want you to come. There's something I want you to see.
A community event? Why would I need to be there? I am nobody.
She searched his face for the trapdoor she always expected. His eyes held no evasion, only something soft she couldn't name.
All right, I'll come. But if this is another way to hand me money, I am walking out.
It's not. You'll see. The whole community is behind this. 2 days at the center.
2 days later, the community center glowed with streamers and a hand-painted banner. Community Appreciation Night. Inside, the hall filled with families, folding chairs, and a low hum of excited voices. Rachel hesitated at the entrance, clutched her worn backpack strap. Then a boy she'd tutored ran over and wrapped his arms around her waist. His mother followed, tears streaming. "You saved my son," she whispered. "He's passing math because of you." Rachel looked around and saw the other families she'd helped. The Martinez, Johnson, Chen kids, all beaming at her. A woman took the microphone. "We're here tonight because one person gave everything, asking nothing back. She tutored our kids, for free." Rachel's hand flew to her mouth. One tear, then another sliding down her cheek. Backstage, Michael stood behind the curtain, the old photograph of his father, and a young Rachel clutched in his hand.
This is it. She's about to learn the truth. I hope it heals instead of breaking.
The applause swelled as the speaker announced the scholarship. It was time. The crowd hushed as Michael walked to the microphone, the scholarship certificate held tightly in his other hand.
We're here tonight to honor someone who gives everything and takes nothing.
The Rachel Cole Scholarship was announced, funded by the families she had been helping, without ever asking for a thing.
I can't accept this. I just wanted to help.
The applause swallowed her words, the room rising to its feet.
But there's another reason we're here, Rachel. It started long before you ever met Lily.
Confusion flickered across her tear-streaked face as she searched his eyes.
Please, come up here. There's something you need to see.
Rachel stood on shaky legs, the crowd parting to make way as she walked toward the stage. Michael waited, his heart pounding, the old photograph heavy in his pocket. Rachel stepped onto the stage, her breath shallow. Michael's voice was thick as he raised the microphone.
Do you remember the volunteer, Rachel? The man who taught you algebra?
Every day. I never forgot.
Michael pulled the photograph from his pocket and held it up. A young Rachel beside a man in a volunteer polo. The photograph showed David Hart laughing, his hand on the shoulder of a teenage girl. Rachel Cole.
The man who taught you math was my dad. David Hart. He was the one who called you kiddo.
Rachel's face crumpled. Her hand reached toward the photo, trembling but didn't touch it. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Somewhere, a child began to cry. In the crowd, Lily stared, tears streaming, finally understanding the secret her brother had kept. Rachel stood frozen, the world collapsing into a single, impossible truth. The man who saved her was Michael's father.
He called me kiddo. Every week. I never forgot.
He wrote about you in his journal. He said you reminded him of Lily. He hoped you'd pass it on.
Rachel pressed her hand to her mouth, her entire body shaking with years of silent gratitude.
All this time I wanted to thank him. I never knew his name.
He knew, Rachel. He knew what you'd become. You've been passing it on all along.
Rachel collapsed into his arms, the dam breaking. The photograph pressed between them. The crowd rose in a wave, applause thundering. But on stage it was only the two of them. Through her tears, Rachel whispered a promise she'd keep forever.
Thank you for finding him, for bringing him back to me.
Michael held the photograph out to her, and this time her fingers closed around it. The applause faded as Michael led Rachel to a quiet corner backstage.
What happens now? I can't just take the scholarship and stop. I need to keep giving.
Then we do it together. We expand this. More kids, more volunteers.
You mean a real tutoring initiative? Named after him?
The Hart Cole Tutoring Initiative. For every kid who needs a kiddo.
She stared at their joined hands, then up at him and nodded with a tearful smile.
I never thought I'd have a partner in this.
You are not alone anymore. We'll train volunteers. Find more hours. Keep your job safe until the scholarship covers you.
For the first time in years, the weight on Rachel's shoulders lifted, replaced by a shared purpose. They stepped out of the building into the night, ready to build the future together. Weeks later, a new banner hung in the community center, Hart Cole Tutoring Initiative. Rachel stood at a whiteboard, marker in hand, guiding a small girl through fractions. Her voice was patient, the same gentle tone she had used with Lily months before. Michael moved between tables, handing out snacks and passing out worksheets. Lily sat beside a young boy, her pencil pointing at his notebook, just as Rachel had once done for her. Parents watched from the back, holding coffee cups, quiet hope on their faces. Rachel hadn't worked a double in a month. The scholarship covered her books, and her smile was no less morose retired. Michael caught her eye across the room, and they shared a look that held everything words couldn't say. A tiny girl tugged at Rachel's sleeve. Rachel knelt down, a word on her lips that had once meant everything. The room hummed with the sound of learning, the chain of kindness now a living, breathing thing. Years before, in a quiet library corner, David Hart sat beside a frightened teenage girl. He opened a math book, traced a fraction with his finger, and the girl looked near tears.
Math is just puzzles, kiddo. You just need the right key.
The girl's shoulders relaxed, and she picked up her pencil. Decades later, in a bustling community center, Rachel stood over Lily with the same gentle patience.
See, Lily? Math is just puzzles. You just need the right key.
Lily's eyes lit up, the same spark that had once lived in Rachel. In her pocket, Rachel touched the worn photograph of David, now her most treasured possession. She didn't need to look at it to see his smile. She felt it every time she called a child kiddo. Kiddo. The kindness had circled all the way back home, and now it was spreading further than ever. The Heart Kitchen had transformed into a command center for kindness. A large calendar covered the wall, filled with tutoring sessions written in colorful markers. Lily came in holding a fresh crayon drawing, its edges still soft from being colored too hard. She pressed the drawing under a magnet, stepping back to admire her work. Rachel walked in, her eyes landing on the fridge, and froze. The drawing showed 4 stick figures: Michael, Lily, Rachel, and a smiling this really finished naturally, endless.
You put me as family. And him.
Michael came up behind her and put his arm around her shoulders.
You always were, Rachel. From the moment he called you kiddo.
Lily grinned, grabbed a marker, and added one more figure to the drawing. A group of small stick children surrounding them. In the Heart Kitchen, the chain of kindness was no longer invisible. It hung on the wall, colored in crayon, ready for the next hand to take it. Outside, dusk settled over the Heart House, the warm kitchen light spilling onto the quiet street. Through the window, 3 silhouettes sat around the table, books spread open, laughter echoing faintly. It was the same kitchen where Michael had once placed money on the table, and Rachel had pushed it back. But now, everything had changed. The chain of kindness, once started by a stranger in a volunteer polo, had circled back home. David's journal lay on the table, his photo on the fridge, a legacy made visible. And the chain kept growing, link by link, because someone once did it for her, and now she was doing it for everyone. The kitchen light would stay on, night after night, a beacon for every child who needed a kiddo. In that warmth, the past and future held hands, invisible and unbreakable, and the circle continued, far beyond what any of them could see. For kindness, once given, never truly disappears. It only waits to be passed on.